Okay, the 2020 census. Guys, this is unprecedented times that we find ourselves in, and about 2/3 of my audience is from United States, and this actually covers the whole, all countries, but specifically we have to keep an eye on what's happening in the United States, of course. Why? Because it's from there that the son of perdition rises. It is from there that the prophetic story of what is taking place in the scriptures is going to affect the whole world. In this video, guys, we're going to talk about two scrolls. The book of Esther is a scroll. And the Lamb, when he releases the seals, the scroll is sealed up. And it's sealed up like this, and then you release it and you open the information. So we're going to look at two scrolls, the book of Esther, and we're going to look at the scroll of something called the shekel of the sanctuary. Hopefully many of you have followed this channel and you've seen us open this scroll, open this information. That is the great mystery of the end times, the concept of the shekel of the sanctuary. Principally, what are we talking about? These are things that are critical for us to understand as we look at the verses. And if you take the vantage point of the scriptures and you look at the world around you, you will see everything taking place perfectly in order. Now, in order to really grasp what is happening in Revelation chapter 12, Revelation chapter 13, you always interpret scriptures, guys, by comparing it with other verses. If you basically do what everyone else does and you read Revelation 13 and you don't get an understanding of what it's talking about, comparing it with other verses, other principles, other concepts throughout the scriptures, you're not really going to understand what's going on. But if you do that, you get a full picture, you get a full idea, and interesting enough, the shekel of the sanctuary in the book of Esther clearly show us the man of sin, what he's doing, and the idea and concept of the mark of the beast. Because everything in the chapter 13 of Revelation, okay, is a counterfeit. The beast is taking a concept, is taking a principle from the Most High God, a principle that is in the scriptures, and he's counterfeiting that, and he's doing so to deceive the people. However, if we come out of Mystery Babylon, if we come out of the beast, if we are able to maintain some victory, we can actually understand exactly what's happening, exactly what's going to happen next. So, let us take a look at first the shekel of the sanctuary. Because, why? Okay, we're talking about the 2020 census. This is the principle of the census that the children of Israel had with Moses. And that principle is you count the people. A census, you count the people. You also count them by coins. Okay, what are coins? Coins is currency, how you buy or sell. Okay, you also count them for war. You also take the currency, you take the gold, and they go into the vessels of building the temple. So what happens is we have all these concepts, all these ideas coming from a coin. Every man gives a half shekel. That then went into the gold, into the temple. Okay? So you can see everything that it's talking about taking place in our day. Even at this very time, we're going to see in the book of Esther, this is the precise date, the 13th day of the first month. That's the time I'm recording this video. I'm going to try and get this as soon to you as possible. And you can see Donald Trump has called out the reserve army. Okay, he's counting the army. Okay, you got the army. You got the census. Okay, you got the coin. We can already see they are trying to submit a digital currency in the United States because the currency, the hard currency, the dollars, are contaminated by the virus. We will also see, number 5, the plague. That's correct. In Exodus 30, this commandment goes forth to do the shekel of the sanctuary, that there be no plague. And what do we have? A plague. So, what we're going to do, we're going to go to Exodus chapter 30. We're going to then look at David. David also did a census. He was advised against doing this because God had multiplied children of Israel by the sand of the sea, and he was not supposed to do a census. Joab said, don't do this. He did it anyway. And what happened? A plague. Okay? So he was not supposed to do a census. Now, the census that Moses did was instituted because there was a precise number of the children of Israel, precise number of war, for an order for these last days. So in the last days, we would understand what the meaning of the shekel of the sanctuary. Now, if David did this and completed those numbers would not correspond in the end of days. That's why God was angry with him and placed a curse. He had 3 choices. We're going to look at that story, and then we're going to look at Haman. In the book of Esther, Haman is clearly the son of perdition. And it's on this precise day that essentially the mark of the beast is instituted. Okay. Here we are in Exodus chapter 30 and verse 12. And when you take a census of the children of Israel after their number, so this is numbering the children of Israel, you shall give every man a ransom for his soul unto Yahweh. When you number them, that there be no plague. And what are we looking at across the whole earth? A plague. And we have a census going on. You understand? That there be no plague among them. When you number them, they shall give every one that passes among them to be numbered a half a shekel. Now this is an actual half shekel. It actually says so on it in Hebrew. It's a replica copy of a half shekel. So what they would do is this precise coin and weight would be given by each person to Moses. Then we can see later on the number of people. You can see there's an army, okay, another people in this census. So then all the gold is added up. It's added up and it's melted down into blocks of gold, bullion that we might call them, and those are called talents. Okay, we'll see that a little bit later. But you can see that there's a census taking place, numbering them, that there be no plague. And every person, everyone is to give a half a shekel. After the shekel of the sanctuary, a shekel, this shall be the offering. Everyone that passes among them that be 20 years old or above. The rich shall not give more, the poor shall not give less than a half a shekel. They shall give an offering unto Yahweh to make atonement for their souls. And thou shalt take the money of the children of Israel, and thou shalt appoint it for the service of the tabernacle. So the money goes into the temple, okay, of the congregation, that there be a memorial unto the children of Israel before Yahweh to make atonement for their souls, so that we would understand in the last days this important concept. Now in Exodus 38 and verse 24, now the gold, so then all the gold that was occupied for the work of the holy place, even the gold of the offering. So that means is every person that gave that half shekel, all the half shekels were added up. And then they are measured by what? By gold. Okay, measurement of all the pieces of gold are melted, and they go into the work of the offering of the holy place. And 29 talents. Now, for time's sake, we don't have the time to go into it, but I want you to keep in mind of the talents and watch the intro video to the shekel of the sanctuary. There's a playlist on this, okay? So you have 29 talents, you have 730 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary. So this is adding up a bika, a half a shekel. So what's that? That's this coin. So all those are melted down, they go in the shekel of the sanctuary, and they go for counting the people in a census. So then in Numbers chapter 1, you see the precise number, 603,550. That amounts to 29 talents, 730 shekels. So you can see that the coins go into a precise measurement of gold. So it's important we keep these ideas of the talents as we go through. But now let's look at David. Now in 1 Chronicles chapter 21 and verse 1, you can see that Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to do a census, to number Israel. And David said to Joab and to the rulers of the people. Go, number Israel from Beersheba to Dan, and bring the number of them to me, that I might know. And Job answered and said, the Lord make his people as 100 times more than they be of the Lord and the Lord's servants. Why does my Lord require this thing? Why would he have cause to trespass against Israel? So David's being warned, don't do this, don't number the people. Nevertheless, king's word prevailed against Job, and Job departed and went through all Israel to number, and he came to Jerusalem. So he's beginning to do this sum, this numbering of the people. Now, why was he was not supposed to do this? Because the law and the principle, the people were to give a coin, okay, that half shekel bika, but they were not to do a census. Why? Because we must know the precise number of people in relationship to talents. So then God was, okay, let's move down a little bit. Okay, there you see verse 7. God was displeased with this thing, and therefore he smote Israel. And David said unto God, I have sinned greatly because I have done this thing now. Do away the iniquity of thy servant, because I have done foolishly. And then David's seer went and warned him about this. 3 things you shall choose. 3 years of famine, 3 months of destroy to your foes, while the sword be upon their enemies, or 3 days. Oh, that's 3 days, or pestilence. Okay, so we have the same thing. We have pestilence. So pestilence in the land, and the angel of the Lord destroying throughout the coast of Israel. Okay, and so David said, I am of a great strait. Let me now fall in the hand of the Lord, for very great are your mercies, but let it not fall into the hand of man. And so the Lord sent pestilence upon Israel, and there fell of Israel 70,000 men. Isn't that interesting? Let's just see what the total comes of this coronavirus. And God sent an angel to Jerusalem to destroy. And as he was destroying, the Lord repented of the evils of the angel that from destroying, said, it is enough. Stay your hand. And the angel of the Lord stood by the threshing floor of Ornan, the Jebusite. David lifted up his eyes and saw the angel of the Lord standing between the earth and heaven, having a sword drawn in his hand, stretched over Jerusalem. Then David and the elders of Israel were clothed in sackcloth, fell upon their faces. Okay, so there we can see the angel, the pestilence. Why? Because the sum. And what he ended up finding, even though he wasn't supposed to do this, he ended up finding the location for the temple. It was in Ornan's threshing floor. Okay, so remember we saw the gold, the coins went towards the temple. All right, so this is a example of pestilence. Okay, a precise number when they take a census. Now let's look at our next scroll and release our next scroll, which is the book of Esther. So in the book of Esther, we're in chapter 3. You can see that Esther has been crowned. That was in the end of chapter 2. Then Haman is revealed. Haman is the son of perdition. And when he's revealed, after these things, the king promoted Haman, okay, and advanced him and his seat. So this is just like it says in Revelation. The seat, the beast has his seat and authority 42 months, okay. And the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman. So the people are worshiping the beast. So the king's commandment went concerning. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did he reverence him. And the king's servants which were in the king's gate said unto Mordecai, why do you transgress the king's commandment? Okay, you refuse to bow to the beast. Okay. Then what happens in verse 6? And he sought and Haman sought to lay hands on Mordecai, for they had shown the people. For he had shown the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom because of Mordecai. Now, in the first month, the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of the king, they came to Pur, that is Lot's. Now, if you remember before, we showed you before that the apostate church is voting in the Antichrist, okay? They're voting him in. They're casting lots. So what casting lots is, it's that you would choose. You would take your vote. You would cast it in an urn. That's what the ancients would do. This principle of casting lots, and you can see, it's the first month, the month of Nisan. Okay, now how do we know the concept of the years here? This is very important. Now a little bit later in Esther chapter 3, in verse 13, and the letters were sent in the post in the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all the Jews, both young and old, little children and women, and everyone, unto the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. So this is the time period of Purim. Okay, so what Haman is doing is he is sending out posts, sending out notice, hey everybody, we're going to kill the Jews, we're going to kill these people because Mordecai wouldn't bow. And that was in the first month. So the decree went out, sealed with the king's ring, on the first month, the month of Nisan. Nisan is Passover. Today's the 13th day, okay? But I want you to notice, let's see, is it here? Okay, yeah. 13th day of the first month, okay? Right here. And then where the king's scribe called unto the 13th day of the first month. That's the day before Passover. That's today, okay? Now, this all takes place in the 12th year of the king. Now, this requires some So, we could see there in the book of Esther that the first month in the beginning, this is the 12th year, in the first month, that's when the decree went out from Haman to kill the believers. Then that was going all the way until the 12th month. The 12th month is at the end of the year, and that's here. And we know that in the story what happens is Haman is a type of Antichrist. He has 10 sons, just like Revelation there's 10 kings. Well, they're killed right at Purim. So Purim's in the 12th month of the year. Now we know that the Antichrist, through Revelation, has his power 42 months. So if we look closely here, you can see the Antichrist is killed. Okay, see that right here. Now, the book of Esther tells us about the 12th year and when he's killed. But we understand through the prophecy that we must backtrack from this point to see when he's revealed. And when we do so, you can see that right here. The Antichrist reign begins. Okay, so that starts. When does that start? That starts in the 9th year. Okay, here. See that? So that's how we interpret the years that are given to us in the book of Esther. So, where we are in time is the Antichrist has been revealed. Haman has been revealed. It's Donald Trump. Okay, we announced this all ahead of time. Guys, we learned all this 4 years ago. Okay, that's how we could say Donald Trump is the Antichrist, because we knew the precise date he'd be revealed. So then, I'm going to show you the precise day when the Antichrist begins his reign of 42 months, or a times and dividing it. That would bring us to the 6th month and 14th day. That would be the year 2019. Okay? 2019 would be August 24th, 2019. That's the date the Antichrist would begin his reign and his power. Okay? And then it would go 42 months.
I am the chosen one.
Like he is the king of Israel. They love him like he is the second coming of God.
Here we can see his Twitter account, and we can see him saying, quoting someone, Wayne Allen Root, for his very nice word, and he is the king of Israel. We love him like he is the second coming of God. After he's revealed, this was in August 2019. Now we come to this point. Now we're here, 2020. So in the book of Esther, it was talking about the 12th year in the first month. But what we can see is once we go back the 42 months, we apply the 42 months to the book of Esther, we can see that the first month is in 2020. Okay? And this is when the decree goes out. This is when the census goes out. This is when everything has gone down. This is the plague. Everything is happening now here. Why? Because this is exactly what the prophecy says. So you can see that Haman goes out to kill and destroy. So make no mistake, those that don't take the mark of the beast must be killed. Okay, so the mark of the beast is the time of those that don't take the mark must be killed. Now that's the decree. Then everything's going to be set in motion. That's what the virus is doing. That's why we're telling you. Everything related to this, the vaccine, buying and selling, everything is now into full force. Okay, make no mistake, that's what we're dealing with. And so you can see right there, 2020, in the first month and 13th day, that's precisely today. Okay, then we have this census, right? Now, let's find the census in the book of Esther. So before we saw, if you remember, we saw that Moses, when he added up the people, he found a certain number of talents, right? Well, we can find those talents right here in the book of Esther. If it please the king, see right there, verse 9? If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. Who? Those that don't take the mark of the beast. If it please the king, let it be written that they be destroyed. Okay? And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver. Now, pay here is he's not paying, he's weighing. Okay? He's weighing, he's measuring, he's doing a census, he's counting the people. Okay? So the amount of them is 10,000 talents of silver into the hands of those that have the charge of this business to bring into the king's treasuries. The king took his ring from his hand and gave it to Haman. So Haman has the authorization to do this. So Haman is the Antichrist. So what is he doing? What does it mean? 10,000 talents of silver. And here's our 10,000. You can see right here, 10,000. Haman's talents. We just read Esther chapter 3, verse 9. Now let's look at what happens. So they shall come forth and fight with him, with the king of the north. This is the Antichrist. He shall set forth a great multitude, and the multitude shall be given into his hand. Okay, so this is Revelation 13. The saints shall be given into his hand, a time, times, and a half a time. And when he hath taken away the multitude's heart shall be lifted up, and he shall cast down many 10,000s. Okay, so what is this? This is a census. 10,000s relate to the 10,000 talents. Okay, now in the ancient times, the expression of raising taxes is also a census. Now we're still here in Daniel chapter 11. Now we're in verse 20. Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes. This is a census in the glory of his kingdom. But within very few days shall he be destroyed, and neither in anger nor in battle. And in his estate shall stand up a vile person. This is the Antichrist. This is Donald Trump. To whom shall not give honor of the kingdom, and he shall come in peaceably. Okay, so Donald Trump's coming in peaceably to obtain the kingdom by flatteries. Okay, that's why he's got the apostate church. That's why he's talking about Easter. All right, but what happened? He's a raiser of taxes. This is a census. So this is not just increasing the amount of money that the people owe. This is counting the people in the census. This is clearly the Antichrist, a vile person. This is why Donald Trump is the Antichrist and not Jared Kushner. He's a vile person. He shall come in peaceably and by flatteries. Okay, so this is clearly the Antichrist doing a census. Now let's remember where we are in time. It's 2020. It's the beginning of the year, the month of Nisan. And you can see that this is the time of the census, right? Over here we have the fifth trumpet, the locust army. Okay, that's the coronavirus. And then we have the sixth trumpet, the Lord of Hosts army. Now, a quick question for you. How many people are in that army? Well, there's a census taking place, right? Okay, so this is this time that we're in. Okay? Now, if we look here, if we look closely,
what we're saying is that there are talents that we learned about. We learned about the talents from Moses. Remember, Moses numbered the people, and when he numbered the people, we determined that there are 20,760 people from the shekel of the sanctuary. Okay, so one talent or block of gold is 20,760 people. So that we learned more details on that in other places, but in Christ's parable of the talents, the same talents, okay? One was given 5 talents, another was given 2 talents. That's a total of 7 talents. 7 times 20,760 people per talent equals 145,320 people. What do we have? 144,000. From Revelation chapter 7, that's right. And 1,220. All these people come from the shekel of the sanctuary, the census that was taking place. Christ is doing a census in the parable of the talents. Now, to make this simple, we saw the Antichrist Haman. What does he do? 10,000 talents. Well, simple math, 20,000 people per talent. There's more details other places, guys, of this number, but 10,000 times 20,000 is 200 million. That's correct. That's the precise number that's in the 6th trumpet army. Do you see that? That is who the Antichrist Haman is trying to kill. He's trying to kill us, the Lord of Hosts army. He's trying to kill us with the coronavirus, with the locust army. Okay? He's trying to kill those that don't take the mark of the beast. Okay, so hopefully that's clear.
These are dreadful times. And what do? Okay, normally we look at Passover as a time of excitement and reflection of what Christ did for us. But these are unprecedented times. These are times of limitation. These are times of woe. And guys, this is where everything in your whole life should be leading to this moment, okay? Everything should be leading into what to do, all right? All the other things are shut down, okay? You can't work, you can't, everything is shut down. Why? The beast is maintaining a stringent control over the people for a census to count them. And they're looking very closely at everything going on and looking very closely at us. Now, what do we take from this? Hopefully, you're in Esther. If you're in Esther and you're a queen, then you go to the king on behalf of your kindred, of your people, because you can see they're deceived. You can see we're showing you clearly Donald Trump is the Antichrist. We're showing you clear information of what it means in the scriptures, these mysteries that haven't been understood until this time. Okay? But what happened? You can see Mordecai. Chapter 4 of Esther. What does he do? When Mordecai perceived all that was done, he rent his clothes, he put on sackcloth and ashes, and went out of the midst of the city and cried with a loud, bitter cry. Guys, I found sackcloth here, and I'm putting on sackcloth and ashes. This is a dreadful time. I only hope you can appreciate the information you're hearing in this video. This is what's really going on. I'm telling you it to the precise day. Okay? If you understand it, you will understand the world going on around you. This is the beast. They're coming after us. Okay? They're seeking to destroy, to kill us. They have numbered us by a precise number, 10,000 talents. And the decree is going out, okay? It's all going to happen, all right? We can see this through the coronavirus. You can see how everything will fall into place, right? But as we conclude, guys, Esther prayed and fasted 3 days. It doesn't say when those 3 days are. It was shortly after this, okay? Well, we're not certain when it is, because then Purim doesn't take place for another 11 months from now. So, but anyway, that's the time we're in, a time of lamentation, a time of woe, okay? And this is the information that goes into how the beast is doing the mark of the beast, okay? It's through this principle that the beast is counterfeit, called the shekel of the sanctuary. In fact, let's look at that real quick. Let's summarize the video. We'll summarize it and go through what is the mark of the beast. Now, when we look at Revelation chapter 13, we have the image of the beast. Image in the Greek is eklon, likeness, a statue, a figure, a resemblance. And so when Christ asked whose image is on the coin, they said Caesar. Caesar was a type of Antichrist. So he said, give unto Caesar what's due to Caesar, unto God what's due to God. That you don't owe Caesar anything, guys. But what does Caesar do? He does a census. He counts the people. And through this principle, he wiped out Jews. Over 2 million Jews he wiped out in 70 AD. He did a census. He counted the people. The people said, we have no king but Caesar. Okay? The same thing people are saying Donald Trump. We have no king but Caesar. Donald Trump is their new Caesar. And the beast, what does he do? He causes many as would not worship should be killed. We're showing you the precise number that they're counting. 10,000 talents. Okay, the army. Then it says, it makes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. In. Now the other thing about the mark is it may not be visible. It's inside the hand, in their right hand, in their forehead. It's not necessarily something you can see. All right? And that no man might what? Buy or sell, save he had the mark, the name of the beast, and the number of his name. Now, all of these principles that we can see in Revelation chapter 13, we can see is a counterfeit of something called the shekel of the sanctuary. So, just as we've been pointing out throughout this video and many other videos, in the shekel of the sanctuary, the rich shall not give more, the poor shall not give less than what? A half a shekel. In Deuteronomy, it says, bind the sign, which is the seal of God. It's also the seal of unleavened bread. That's why this happens at the time of Passover. Okay, this is the time of Passover. I'm doing this video. It shall be a sign upon your hand and a memorial between your eyes. Okay, this is all this is what the true principle is of the shekel of the sanctuary. To what? Redeem the firstborn. It will be a sign upon your hand and the frontlets between your eyes. And it's a currency, denarian. Okay, give unto God the things that are God's. So this is giving unto God is the shekel of the sanctuary. Christ said, redeem from me gold tried in the fire. This is the true gold. This is true heavenly currency. Okay, give unto God the things that are God, and Caesar the things that are Caesar. We don't owe Caesar anything. Okay, but we can clearly see what's happening with Haman. We can see now clearly what Haman is doing. Esther chapter 3:9, Haman, the son of perdition, let it be decreed that they be destroyed, and I will weigh 10,000 talents of silver. Okay, and also in the temple of Solomon, 1 Chronicles 29:7, there was 10,000 talents into the hands of those that have charge of the king's business, that they put it and they trade into the king's treasury. And remember what happened, that they would destroy and kill them. Daniel 11, so we can see the Antichrist, the king of the north. He shall set forth a great multitude, and by the multitude shall be given into his hand. Okay, the saints shall be given into his hand, a time, times, and a half a time. And his heart shall be lifted up, and he shall cast down tens of thousands, 10,000 talents. Then he shall stand up in his estate, a raiser of taxes, census. Okay, but what did Christ say? Labor not for food which perishes, but that endures unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man gives unto you. For him, those that are sealed, God the Father has sealed. So if we're If we have the seal of God, we don't have to be afraid of any of these things, guys. So that's the meaning of the census, okay? I will make the notes available to you. I will also give you a summary of the verses and everything we looked at from Exodus chapter 30, 38. We looked at Daniel 11. We looked at Esther. So guys, thanks for watching. And guys, this is the time to watch and pray that you be accounted worthy to escape all these things. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.